Hey guys, my name is Monster Dust and welcome. Today I am very sleepy, so we're going to be doing a bit of a different video. Got a couple openings for you. I'm going to open up the Emperor of Darkness structure deck. I actually bought three of these. I bought one the day it came out, and I just bought two tonight because they were on sale. So after I do the opening, I'm going to open this, and then I got this pack of sleeves I'll open up for you guys. Um, After I do both of those, I'm gonna leave for a minute and assemble a budget Monarch deck. It's basically just gonna be three of the structure decks, no extra Monarchs at all. It's just gonna be cards from the structure decks purely. Um, so I got my deck here that I'll open up. I got the sleeves. Got a really somewhat decently drawn Digimon right there for you guys to enjoy and look at. Got my monster here, and I got all you guys. So let's go ahead and open this up. Usually I just go from the top like this. There we go. Let's go ahead and crack this open. This one's being tough. The other one, I already opened one of them. It opened up way easier than this. This one I gotta actually like tear apart. Oh. And everything's just falling out. Let's see what all we got. Got the security tag from the store, so you can't steal these. Got an offer to subscribe to Shonen Jump Weekly. 4 ultra rare cards per year. I think the one that just came out in the March edition of Shonen Jump was that big like level 12 monster people have been talking about, Dystopia. I forgot the other half of his name. But yeah, so subscribe to Shonen Jump, man. It's a good deal. Got some plastic, the booklet, how to play. Alright. We got, of course, deck list. And it's also a game mat. Let's go ahead and show you guys that. Dang. Can you see that? It's the Erebus and Aether, I believe. The two big monarchs of the structure deck. Let's go ahead and put that to the side. Put all this garbage to the side. Empty box, that's all what was in there. And we'll go ahead and open up the deck for you. Like I said, I opened up another one of these, so I got two of them here. And my other already opened one is somewhere around here. And I'll put together a structure, or not structure, this is the structure. I'll put together a budget Monarch deck for you guys. Even budget Monarchs are really, really powerful. You can top your locals with just the structure deck, like 3 of them. So we got Aether, the Heavenly Monarch, Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. I'll go more into depth on these cards when I do the deck profile. Eidos, the Underworld Squire, Idea, the Heavenly Squire, Pantheism, the regular level 6 monarchs, so Caius, the Shadow Monarch, Zaborg Thunder, Grenmarg the Rock, Mobius the Frost, Thessalos the Firestorm, and Rise of the Storm. That's it for the basic monarchs. We got the vassals here, so we got Lucius, Shadow, Mithra the Thunder, Landrub the Rock, Escher the Frost, Berlineth the Firestorm, Garum the Storm. That's it for the vassals. Then we got just some generic stuff in here. So we have Illusory Snatcher, Trigodia, Dandelion. Love this card. I have a Sylvan deck. I run one of these. He's amazing in Sylvans. Mathematician, Level Eater, Battle Fader is also really cool. And Rainbow Kariba. That's all the monsters you get in the structure deck. Now we got the new field spell for Monarchs, the Domain of the True Monarchs. We got March of the Monarchs, Return of the Monarchs, Stormforth is great. Stormforth you want to run in basically any deck that involves level 5 or higher monsters. Just tribute off an opponent's monster as a tribute for yours. Strike, Tenacity is a great one. I think that's it for the Monarch spells. So here we got some generic spells. Soul Exchange, Enemy Controller, Dice Foon, Soul Charge is awesome. I can't believe they reprinted this as a common, if I'm being honest, because it had only been printed like one time before this, and it was a super, and it was like a $10 card. And being reprinted, it dropped pretty far. Prime Monarch and the first Monarch, it's basically Aether and Erebus without showing themselves. Let's put all those over here. Escalation, Awaken, Erupt, By Order of the Emperor, and a Pinpoint Guard. And then we also get this little Caius token. If you can't tell, it's the little ball that Caius is holding in the Caius the Shadow Monarch art. Alright, so now that we got all that, let's go ahead and open up these chibi sleeves. I mean, you can already pretty much see what they look like by just seeing that first sleeve. Let's go ahead and open it anyway. If I can even get it open. Alright, here we go. I believe it's taped here. Alright, and these are what we'll be using to sleeve up our new Monarch deck. So, these weren't on sale, but I went ahead and bought these anyway. They're $4. They're pretty decent quality. Like the Ultra Pro sleeves are what I use most often. I also use Dragon Shield, but the Konami tournament sleeves aren't that bad. Alright, so let's clear all that off. You guys can just look at that beautiful Hagurumon that I drew. So anyway, guys, that was the Emperor of Darkness structure deck and the Chibi Yugi sleeves. I'm gonna go for a minute, I'm gonna sip on my monster, I'm gonna build my new deck, and I will see you guys very soon. Alright, this is Monster Dust, I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back, and I put the 3 structure decks together into one deck that I think works pretty well. I hope this helps you guys out. This is my budget Monarch deck. Okay, so we got the standard 3 Aether. She's a pretty great card. What she does is, when you tribute summon her, you can send 2 Monarch spell or traps from your deck to the grave, and if she's in your hand, during your opponent's main phase, you can banish a Monarch spell or trap from your grave and immediately tribute summon her during your opponent's turn. So that's pretty good. So ideally what you would do is Monarch Stormforth plus one of your monsters, you know, tribute off an opponent's monster, tribute off your monster during your opponent's turn, and just put her down on the field. You would wait until they've already used up their normal summon, since this is your opponent's main phase 1. So they normal summon, you Stormforth, you tribute summon Aether. That's the common play for this card. Next up we got the other obvious, the 3 Erebus. Erebus is pretty good too. He does the same thing, sends 2 Monarch spell or traps to the grave when he's tribute summon. But when you do that, shuffle 1 card, any card, from your opponent's hand, grave, or side of the field into their deck. If he's in your graveyard, you can discard a Monarch spell or trap to add a Monarch to your hand from your graveyard. Alright, so that's Erebus. He's pretty great. Normally I would wait until Aether is already in the grave, and then I would use Erebus to get her back. Alright, then we got 3 Caius. This is regular Caius because we're only using structure deck cards. Caius is pretty good. You target a card on the field on tribute summon, banish it, and then inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent if it's a dark monster. So if your opponent is playing like DDs, which are about to get really big, they got a structure deck coming out in July, but even right now they got a bunch of support. So just, you know, banish one of their DDs, they take 1,000 immediately. And then hopefully you've banished their only monster, and then you got a direct 24. So Caius is awesome. He's a pretty essential part of the deck. And we got one Ryza. Ryza's just generally pretty good. I'll search him out with Aether sometimes. When he's Tribute Summon, you just target a card on the field and place it on top of the deck. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it's not like an amazing effect. Like, it's not something fantastic. So I only run one Ryza. And that's it for the Tribute monsters. I wanted to keep it a good 10-10 ratio with the Tribute monsters and the monsters that you would tribute to get those out. So next we got another staple for this deck, Edea, the Heavenly Squire. Edea is amazing. What you do with her is on normal summon, you special summon another monster with 800 attack, 1000 defense, just any of the other vassals from your deck in defense position except itself. And then if it's sent to the grave, you can target a Banish Monarch spell or trap and add it to your hand. So one of the ones that Aether banished, you can immediately just get it back. You can only use each of these effects once per turn. So ideally, what you would do is normal summon to special summon one of these guys, because when you special summon him, you can do an extra tribute summon in addition to your normal summon. So it's like normal, special, and then tribute for Aether or Erebus. That's like the most common play that you want to be able to do. And that's why if you have other cards besides structure deck cards that you can add to this, because as you can see, Edea is a warrior, you would want to add definitely a Rhoda to this deck. But just that's a good rule of thumb, word of advice. You should add a Rhoda, but Rhoda is not in the structure deck, so I'm going to leave it out of this deck profile. Let's move on to the next vassal. Landrobe is actually one of the better vassals in the deck, besides Edea and, what's his name? Eidos. Landrobe is actually, like, the best vassal, because what you do, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon this guy, flip that monster face down, and then if he's tributed for a tribute summon, you can target a monster with 800 attack, 1000 defense, again, just another one of the vassals, that's in your graveyard, accept itself, and add it to your hands. So you would just special Landrobe, tribute him off for your Caius or your Ryza, and then get that back to your hand, and then hopefully you can normal summon that, get out your Eidos, do another tribute summon. This deck is just crazy with the summons that it can do like that. There's a reason this deck is the meta right now. It's absolutely ridiculous, all the tribute summons you can do with just one turn. So, 3 Landrobe. I run 1 Lucius, just because, like I said, I wanted to keep a 10-10 ratio, so I didn't really even have room to add another one if I wanted to. But I think he's pretty good at 1. You banish a level 5 or higher monster, just a Monarch, basically. You banish a Monarch from your grave, and you special him. And then if he's tributed for a tribute summon, you can look at all the set cards your opponent controls. That's not just spells and traps. You can look at their set monsters if they have set monsters. That's why he gives you a huge advantage, because you know every single card that your opponent controls except the ones that are in their hand when you tribute this guy. So he's pretty great, but you don't really need more than 1. Because you should be able, with this deck, ideally, to take out your opponent without knowing what they have face down. I also do just 1 Battle Fader, just because he's just generally good. When your opponent's monster direct attacks you, you special him from your hand, then you end the battle phase. He's awesome. Because then Next turn, your opponent basically has nothing else to do. You can tribute him for a tribute summon. Alright, that's it for monsters. That was 21 monsters, and then we got 19 spells and traps. So we're going to go ahead and start with those. We got 3 Domain. Domain is the new field spell that came out in the structure deck, and it's honestly amazing. It stops your opponent from special summoning from the extra deck as long as you have a tribute monster. And if a tribute monster you control attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 during damage calculation. And also, the second effect of this is once per turn, you can reduce the level of one of your big monarchs in your hand by 2 until the end of the turn. Basically reducing the number of tributes they need from 2 to 1, which is huge for this deck because you can just like Domain, reduce the level of one of your Mega Monarchs, and then Stormforth to tribute one of your opponent's monsters for it, and you never have to tribute one of your own monsters. I love this card. It's just amazing. After that, we got 3 Pantheism. Pantheism is just a really good card, like a staple. Any Monarch deck, even if you're running this budget deck, if you're running something that uses a bunch of the Mega Monarchs, whatever you're running, you want Pantheism. Because you send a Monarch spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So it's a huge draw engine of the deck. Just when you activate 3 of them, you get a +6 right there. +3, depending on how you look at it, because you got to get rid of this to do it. And you got to get rid of a Monarch spell or trap. And if you banish this card from your grave, you can reveal 3 Monarch spell or traps from your deck, and your opponent picks one of them, you add it to your hand, the other 2 get shuffled back into the deck, so you don't even lose those. So this is really good for getting off your really cool plays, especially if you have 3 copies of a certain spell or trap still in your deck. Then you just pick those 3, and they have to add that spell or trap to your hand. It's pretty cool. Alright, the next card we got to talk about here is Tenacity of the Monarchs. This is actually a really, really good one. So with Tenacity, you reveal a Monarch in your hand, and you add a Monarch spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And you can only activate one of these per turn. Pretty plain and simple, so typically just reveal a Monarch, add Pantheism, or add the field spell, or just anything. This is just the Searcher. It's a Rhoda for your spells. Now here we got the staple. You knew it was coming. We got 3 Monarch Stormforth. This card is beautiful, especially with Aether now, because it's just activate it, you contribute one of your opponent's monsters, Aether is able to be tribute summoned on your opponent's turn, so just tribute one of their monsters, Aether. This card is fantastic. It's really funny when you have 2 of them set, like they think they're only going to lose one of their monsters, and then you just clear your field by tributing all their monsters. Then we got 1 return. It's a continuous, and during each turn, when you tribute summon a monster, you can add a Monarch from your deck to your hand. It just, I mean, it doesn't specifically say a Monarch, but you know, it's Monarch with 2400 attack, 1000 defense, or 2800 attack, 1000 defense. So it's another Searcher. Next up we got March, also continuous. Tribute summoned monsters you control cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. And just the typical, you can't summon monsters from the extra deck, like with most Monarch cards. So yeah, this one's obviously very plain and simple, turns your Monarchs into a Dark Destroyer, which is awesome. Soul Charge, just in case you're out of monsters in hand and you need something. So, pay 1,000, special summon as many monsters as you want, or you pay 1,000 for each monster that you want to special summon. Now we got 2 Prime Monarch. We're nearing the end of this deck profile. We don't run that many traps. So with Prime Monarch, this is the one that you would try to discard or send from deck to grave. With most of the effects I've mentioned before, like Aether, send 2 from deck to grave, you would try to send this. What was it? Pantheism, where you discard one to draw two. You would want to discard this because when it's sent to the graveyard, or if it is in the graveyard at all, you can banish another Monarch spell or trap from your grave and special summon this as a normal monster. Light Fairy, level 5, 1000 attack, 2400 defense, and it's not treated as a trap any longer, so your opponent can't MST this, which makes it really, really good for tribute summons. We got Escalation of the Monarchs, a continuous trap that basically just says during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you contribute summon a monster. So it's like turning all of your monarchs into an Aether. Just you contribute summon during your opponent's turn. And to finish up the deck profile, we have one Monarch's Erupt. I was debating on whether to do this or to do another Escalation, and I think this one is useful enough that you want to use this. Because you activate it when you have no cards in your extra deck, and you don't run an extra deck when you have Monarchs. So if you control a tribute summon monster, you negate the effects of all non-tribute summon monsters on the field. But if you no longer control a tribute summon monster, you have to destroy this card during your end phase. Alright, so that was Budget Monarchs. If you guys want to build this, they're still on sale. Get the Cartwheel app for Target, and they are 30% off right now. So you can get 3 structure decks to build this whole deck for like $20 basically. 3 for the price of 2. It's a great deal. I feel like it's definitely worth the money because Monarchs, even when they're budget like this and they're not a complete deck, they are amazing. They destroy most of the other decks that are out there right now. So let me know what you guys thought of this. Leave me a like, comment, and subscribe if you want more videos like this. This is Monster Dust signing off. Thank you guys for watching. Also guys, just real quick, I wanted to say shout out to my buddy Patrick. You guys know him by his YouTube name, Bongo Jenkins, aka Juice. Shout out to him just because he's awesome, and he is like the OG of Monarchs. Like, he has a full Monarch deck. You guys should check out his channel. I'll link it below. You can check out his deck profile. He has a complete deck instead of just a budget deck like this one here. So check him out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to him. And I will see you guys next time.